What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Game 2 of the Raidcall Dota 2 League series between EG and Dignitas. And if you have not checked out Game 1, then just click back and go back to the YouTube channel. You can see Game 1 right there. But spoiler alert, EG did win it on the back of some very strong Nyx play by Beatis. It was really he single-handedly pretty much carried EG to victory just on the back of his ganks, and AUI never really got the room to farm. Of course, the Gyrocopter mid lane got shut down pretty hard. So we'll see how Dignitas sets to respond to this sort of adversity, as they're going to be going with the 0-1 deficit in this series. And so far, EG have definitely not been that consistent, but they looked pretty sharp in Game 1. And we'll see if they can turn around EG, one of those fan-favorite teams, because not only do they have a lot of fan-favorite players like Fear, Melk, and Demon, but they also like to experiment. They're pretty well-known personality. Of course, the organization EG, pretty much known all across the esports world. So we'll see how Dignitas decides to respond. Dignitas in general have been a lot more consistent than EG because they're in the winner's bracket of the Defense 3, so they're already guaranteed some money, but I'm sure they want to keep going on. So we'll see what they decide to do. As last pick ban phase, Nyx, Assassin, and Barrett both got through, and EG did first pick up Nyx, while Dignitas did get the Barrett, as well as... who did they get? I can't honestly remember for the life of me. They got some other really powerful hero. I think it was Darkseer. But we'll see what EG decides to do. They probably want to ban out the Nyx or the Kato. Kato is one of their least favorite heroes to play against. Melk always... well, he doesn't always complain about it, but he complain about it on Twitter. I think EG in general just don't like playing. I know Demon said on stream that they really just dislike using Kato. And they don't really like using Wisp either, but Tides of Time does play a very strong Wisp. So I guess we'll find out very soon what EG decides to do with their second ban, because I'm sure Dignitas will not ban out the Wisp. They'd rather ban out heroes like Barrett or Nyx rather than sort of ban out Wisp, because Wisp, I think, is for the most part their go-to support other than Kato.
10 seconds remaining.
But as usual, if you want an alternative version of this cast, check out youtube.com/myegnet or twitch.tv/OneMoreGameTV2 for AC and Draskell's version of this cast. But yeah, I will be bringing you the rest of this series. We'll see if Dignitas can push it to a game 3, or EG will finally take one of their first series in quite a while. I think before this game, they were something like 1-7 in their last 8 games. It was pretty sad. But hopefully they'll turn things around, as Dignitas gonna bat out the Nyx, and EG gonna have to make a choice, give up Barretter or give up Wisp, and I think they'll probably give up Barretter. They pretty much had no fear of Barretter in the last game. I think teams have been figuring out how to play against Barretter for the most part. He is still very commonly picked and banned in the first phase, usually first ban, first pick material, but his win percentage has not been nearly as high as it has been in January and things like that. And mostly because Barretter, if he sort of doesn't get off to the best start, he's still a fantastic initiator, still does a lot of damage, but he's not really a game breaker like some of the other heroes in the pool, like Nyx, Wisp. Those heroes are sort of like game breakers. Kato definitely a game breaker because it's so difficult to push against Kato. Meanwhile, Barretter, yeah, he's great and all, but his last hit does have 50-second cooldown. Meanwhile, heroes like Nyx can shut down people in a team fight for a large AoE because it's spiked and impale, and Mana Burn, of course, is superbly annoying. So if given a choice, I think EG would probably ban out the Wisp over Barretter. They're going to ban out the Gyrocopter. So I think they're going to make Dignitas pick up the Wisp and try to get Barretter for themselves. That is my reasoning behind this choice. As Gyrocopter, definitely a very versatile hero. Dignitas does love to run it, but there goes the Wisp first pickup for Tides of Time. One of the best Wisps in the North American scene. Probably the best Wisp in the North American scene. One of the best Wisps in the Western scene. Actually, I don't even know I should say the Western scene in general, because the Eastern scene does not play Wisp. So maybe one of the best Wisps, period, but still, that might be a little bit overkill. As EG gonna pick up that Barretter, who will they pair it with? I think... just judging on who's left in the hero pool, I guess Shadow Demon, so they won't let Dignitas pick up 2 of their 3 supports. Because right now, in the first phase, supports are very much a high priority. Otherwise, they will get banned out or get snatched up by EG. So, and keep in mind the carry pool has never been greater. I mean, we see Alchemist, Dignitas is known to run Morphling a couple times, Chaos Knight, Void, pretty much anybody they want Dignitas can get their hands on, but EG can pick up Chen for Melk. We have not seen Chen nearly as much, but in general, EG and Navi are pretty much the only 2 teams that run Chen pretty consistently, and even then Navi doesn't run it that much. They mostly get it banned against them for the most part. And Chen is still a very powerful hero, can send people back, can heal them up for a huge amount of AoE, but in the mid to late stages of the game, he does fall off compared to most other heroes. But I guess he can sort of function similar to a Wisp. I mean, he needs to get a good early game going, otherwise he will fall in terms of his usefulness later on, and Wisp is sort of similar to that. I mean, he is pretty useless till level 6 for the most part, unless he's paired with CK, which we're gonna see in the mid lane, most likely by Dignitas, so we'll see how they decide to lane the Puck. Probably Puck off lane, or they might run Wisp at Chaos Knight safe lane. As it'll be interesting to see Barrett's role. Again, Barrett are one of those heroes whose strength is his versatility and how fast he can initiate, get that dagger up. So we'll see if he goes off lane, if he goes jungle, or if he goes mid lane. As I think EG is one of those teams that likes to off-lane Barrett a bit more, but still, honestly, I cannot say I've watched too many EG games lately because it's very difficult to find out their schedule. It always seems like they play at very, very weird times. They don't enter some of these smaller cups like the Big Point Battle or the Beyond the Summit Open Tournament or Weekend Tournament or anything like that. They only play in these giant major tournaments, but still, I guess we'll find out very, very soon what Barrett will play in this game. And if I have to imagine, it will be a mid lane or off lane Barrett because Chen does want the whole jungle to himself. If Dignitas play their cards right, they will just ward off the jungle. I mean, if EG sort of leaves them open to putting Barrett in the jungle along with Chen, then Dignitas, rest assured, will ward off the jungle and essentially shut down Barrett and Chen. But Dignitas, again, with the Wisp Chaos Knight, most likely going mid lane. If Barrett does go off lane, he should have a relatively easy time because there's not really too many mechanisms in place that can stomp him. As EG going to pick up the Luna for Fear, most likely, or Jo. EG is one of those teams that like to switch up the roles quite a bit. Only Beata's and Melk's role seems to remain the same after every game. I suppose the Demon from time to time, but Fear and Jo definitely like to switch up roles. Fear sometimes takes mid, sometimes goes hard carry. So I think Fear will probably play the Luna, but I'm not too sure at this point. Meanwhile, Dignitas, they have their mid lane composition. They have probably their offlane hero in the form of Puck. Puck not really the best offlane hero, but Chen, considering he's gonna be the in jungle for the most of the time, Puck should have relatively decent time in terms of getting experience, unless there's something like a Shadow Demon or a Leshrac or even a Disruptor in place to glimpse Puck back. Other than that, Puck should be okay against Luna and whatever support she's paired up against. Sure, Puck might not get enough free farm, but still, Puck should be able to get a decent amount of experience. And once the push does come in by Chen, Puck should be able to anti-push and at least stall the push for a little bit, if not completely outright negate it, because Puck, keep in mind his nukes do have long cooldowns, but they can be fired from quite a range away, and that orb in the early game does tend to hurt. Of course, this is all assuming that Wisp Chaos Knight does go mid, which again, they could transition to bottom lane. They could do Puck mid, have Wisp cut down the trees and do mid lane creep pulls and put Wisp Chaos Knight in the safe lane. Anything's possible at the moment. So Dignitas again picking a very versatile laning lineup, and EG sort of committing themselves a bit more. Chen will probably be in the jungle, Luna will most likely be in the safe lane. When I say Chen will be probably in the jungle, I mean he'll probably be in the safe lane jungle. He could offensive jungle, but Chen definitely not nearly as good as Enchantress in terms of offensive jungling because he can't get those double creeps up, and yeah, one creep, although it's a bit more tanky, it's a little bit difficult to sort of get that extra firepower on your side if you don't have that second creep up in the early stages of the game. Meanwhile, Dignitas gonna battle the Shadow Demon, so eliminating one of the supports that EG still has left in the pool. Beatas is one of those guys who's known for a lot of support heroes. I know he does like to play Leshrac quite a bit, but he could play Venomancer. I mean, he has a very, very wide repertoire of support heroes that can definitely play the game very well at. And meanwhile, EG gonna battle Visage, recognizing Dignitas do need another support, and Visage is one of those supports that Team Liquid did pioneer in terms of the Western scene recently, but Dignitas have definitely made great usage of Visage these days. So they're going to mount Visage. I do not think Dignitas would run a tri-lane unless they do the Wisp creep pulling mid strategy, but still, better be safe than sorry. And Visage is one of those heroes who's pretty annoying, gets those nukes up, and keep in mind, Batrider, he's not the most tanky hero if he doesn't get the fastest blink dagger. He has pretty decent strength growth, 2.7, but not the highest base armor, and he has to venture quite close. So if he gets bursted down, then that could be a bit of trouble. Assuming, of course, he gets something like a pretty late dagger. If he gets an early on dagger, then still, you will be able to kill the target you're lassoing in before they can kill you, or his teammate can kill you. Dignitas gonna eliminate some of the team fight, banning out the Magnetar. They anticipating that demon will go off lane. I guess they think that Batter will probably go mid lane, so they're gonna ban off lane heroes. I mean, Batter could go off lane, Magnus could go mid, but right now, Dignitas, one of the good things about Wisp Chaos Knight, or Magnus against Wisp Chaos Knight, is that when you see the Wisp Chaos Knight teleport in, they can start positioning themselves, cast their RP right as they spawn in, and then you can just hold them in place for 2 or 3 seconds if you have 1 or 2 more people in place that can really turn that counter gank around. So Magnetar, a pretty smart ban in my opinion. Of course, Empower onto Luna definitely does hurt quite a bit. And again, Dignitas, they pick Magnetar from time to time, but I do not think they have a suitable place for him in this game. Again, Puck could go off lane, they could do Chaos Knight Wisp safe lane, could do Chaos Knight Wisp dual mid, but at the moment, Magnetar does not really have a place in their game, and they're going to bat OD. Interesting. So I guess this really does indicate that they might want to run Chaos Knight Wisp mid, because OD does shut down Chaos Knight Wisp pretty hard. Just keep imprisoning the Chaos Knight so he never has enough mana to cast anything. Chaos Knight, very, very low base mana pool. And as long as OD just stays back, gets enough experience, then pretty much at level 2 with Disaster Imprisonment, he can pretty much ensure that Chaos Knight can never really have a second stun place. Sure, he might have enough mana for a Reality Rift, but he probably will never have enough mana for that cast bolt if OD does play the lane correctly.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Meanwhile, EG banning out the Lone Druid. Seeing, okay, they might run Puck mid, they run Chaos Knight Wisp mid, they could put Lone Druid safe lane. I guess they just don't want to play against Lone Druid, because I do not think this is more focused on laning situations. They're just focusing on heroes they don't want to play against, and heroes who Dignitas are currently lacking. And right now, Dignitas are lacking a secondary support, but they are going to bat the Clockwork. Maybe they realize, okay, you know, we're lacking a secondary support as well, so we don't want to ban too many out of the pool, unless otherwise Dignitas might just get the support that they are hoping for and that we're hoping for. But Dignitas, since they have the first pickup, they will have the pick advantage. As we'll see what Dignitas decides to go for right now. We'll be able to get a bit more of a clearer picture once this pick does go through on how these lanes will shape up, what Dignitas' game plan will be. Right now they have mobile heroes, they have decent ganking heroes, they have some semblance of team fight, but this next pick will really show what Dignitas will be all about, if they're going to pick up a secondary support, if they're going to pick up their hard K right now, because AUI probably won't play the Chaos Knight. It'll probably be handled by somebody like Fogged or Universe. They're going to pick up the Lina, getting a bit more burst damage on their side. And again, I mean, well, at least we know this. Dignitas are not going for teamfight. They really just don't have too much teamfight on their side. They're going for more gank, more burst damage, a lot of mid-game damage potential, which is a little bit odd considering Dignitas, considering they like to play 4 Protect 1. They could still play that. They could put AUI, a very, very hardcore hero, and then just use their 4 ganking heroes to really open up a lot of space on the map for AUI. But still, they won't really have too much teamfight on their side. But again, Lina could help babysit the safe lane. They could do Chaos Knight Wisp mid, they could do Puck mid. Really difficult to say at the moment, but I think at this point, I think Chaos Knight Wisp will go mid, because AUI, I have not honestly seen him play Chaos Knight in a long time. And Chaos Knight is one of those heroes who really doesn't farm a lot. He gets his farm from kills, and AUI does like to play farming heroes quite a bit. And he can farm with Chaos Knight, but he's just not a flash farmer. He has to hit creeps once or twice in order to get those last hits. He really just does not farm fast whatsoever. And EG going to pick up the Rubik, most like for Beta, is going to play it in a support capacity. And at this point, I think it will be an offlane Batter played by Demon, and I'm going to see Nature's Prophet getting a bit more split push action. So it's going to be AUI playing that cast, and I did not think that would happen. I thought this Lina pick would indicate a farming hero for AUI, but they're going to pick up Nature's Prophet, most likely handled by Universe or Fogged? I'm not too sure. But at this point, it's going to be Chaos Knight safe lane with Puck off lane, or Puck mid lane, Nature's Prophet off lane, and most likely Nature's Prophet will just abandon the off lane altogether, Luna free farm it up, and just try to get his farm in the jungle. But keep in mind, Chen Luna is one of those scary pushing combinations that can take towers super fast, and EG going to pick up the Warlock. Really interesting decision right here, because they, other than the golem, they don't really have too much AoE in terms of keeping people in place. They have Eclipse doing a measurable amount of damage, and they have Fade Bolt, so Fatal Bonds definitely will put in work if they can get some Firefly splash damage in there, get some Glaives damage rolling in. They definitely have a support that can scale well to the late game, and it's going to be Jo handling that Warlock, so we're going to see mid-soul Warlock that Dignitas did popularize recently. but this is just my personal opinion, of course. I think Warlock can only be picked up as the last pick. He can't really be picked up in the first phase, because in my opinion, he gets shut down by illusion heroes. Because Fatal Bonds, of course, hits illusions. It doesn't really matter that much. So I think heroes like PL, Naga, Chaos Knight could all do pretty well. And keep in mind, PL, Naga are two of those heroes who do naturally pick up
10
Diffusal
seconds
Blade,
remaining.
which can instantly kill those golems. But in this game, unless Warlock,
5
or unless
seconds
Nature's
remaining.
Prophet does pick up Diffusal Blade, the Warlock Golem should be able to reign free, unless they just decide to focus him down with immense amounts of physical damage, which they will be lacking until Furion does manage to get that happening on their side. So EG getting a bit more mid-game teamfight on their side, and Dignitas getting a lot more gank heavy with some split push elements as well. So we'll take the time to introduce the players in the teams. We're going to have Fogged playing the Puck, Tides of Time is playing the Wisp, Way 2 is playing the Nature's Prophet, AUI 2000 is playing the Chaos Knight, and Universe is handling that Lena Inverse. Meanwhile, on the side of EG, we're going to have Luna being handled by Fear, Jo is going to be handling that Warlock, Demon is handling the Batrider, Beatus is playing the Rubik, and Melk is going to be playing his trademark Chen. And again, Chen has really fallen out of favor, but if you're playing against Ishi or Navi, you pretty much always have to ban out the Chen, because even if it doesn't always win, it's definitely powerful enough that it'll make a difference. And they know that EG and Navi do like to favor the Chen over a lot of different heroes. And Melk, I feel like, is definitely a lot more comfortable with Chen than he is with Enchantress. So, yeah, gonna see that trademark Melk Enchantress, or Melk Chen, rather, as this is a weird mount. I guess it's some sort of Pope Raptor thing. He's wearing the Pope hat. So I'm not too sure what this is about. Pretty sick alternate mount, I guess. As he does have a Smoke Deceit, so he's going to get some early ganks. And it looks like he's going into the offensive jungle. Or is he? I don't think he is. I think he expects Dignitas to ward off. And Dignitas did ward off one camp at the very least. So this camp will be denied. That is access to a high level creep, but still. Chen does have a lot of jungle. Keep in mind this camp does spawn a Centaur. This camp has not been blocked just yet. So Melk does still have a lot of room to maneuver if he does decide to jungle in safe lane. And it looks like he is. Again, Chen offensive jungle is really just not that good. As we're going to see Batrider handling that bottom lane. It's a lot more scary this time, because I was predicting Chaos Knight Wisp to go mid until I saw that Nature's Prophet pick. But again, at this point, Chaos Knight Wisp do have this significant advantage, but still. As long as Batrider picks up the early boots, which he does have, he should be able to escape, and you can see Demon doing what he does. Just hiding in the trees, not worrying about farm, just trying to take as much experience as possible. This is trademark Demon for the most part. And really, as long as Batrider can survive the initial barrage, good luck is the call by Demon. I don't know if that's a good luck on trying to kill him, or just a good luck, a late good luck. I think it was probably like good luck, because these are American teams. I don't know if they're necessarily friendly with each other, because I've not heard EG scrumming with too many American teams, but still, I imagine they're friends with each other. And Demon now level 2. Again, not worrying about farm. He's getting experience, but still, Batrider does want to have a decent timing on his blink dagger. Around 15 minute marks is the very latest. Otherwise, when he dives in, he'll just get focused down by a lot of burst damage hanging his way, because by the 15 minute mark, every support's nukes will be maxed. Most of the carries nukes will be maxed, and at the 15 minute mark, you can survive the initial barrage of the Flaming Blast of Firefly damage. But once he sees Wisp going out of the lane to get the pulls, the Demon immediately heading back into the lane, getting a decent amount of farm. 3 CS is better than no CS, and he's getting the Magic Stick as well, just to help him get that little bit of extra survivability. So far, Demon is playing this lane pretty properly for the most part. As we're going to see a tether going on. Firefly reality. Here comes the tether stun, but the boots of speed. No, the Chaos Knight Bolt is in place. Chaos Knight trying to rush in. The tether speed giving him enough, but he denies himself to the neutral. Keep in mind, when you deny yourself to the neutrals, the heroes involved in the gank still get gold. I don't know if they get experience, but they still get gold. So, yeah. A little bit of a nice gank by AUI and Tide. It's not really a gank, just a sort of lane kill by the two Radiant heroes. And keep in mind, First Blood is still up in the air, so that might force Scourge to be a little bit more aggressive. And of course, by Scourge I mean the Dire. And this is what happens when you cast a Dota 1 game. You just go, forget all your habits of Scourge and Sentinel. And just analyzing this middle lane matchup, Puck usually beats most mid lane heroes, but I do not know if he does that well against Warlock, because Warlock won't really die to Puck ever. He has a heal, he has higher base damage, better attack animation, and he doesn't really worry about Puck pushing the wave. He doesn't go for bottle too often anyways, and if he does go for bottle, he definitely won't rune. So I imagine Warlock does have a slight edge in this matchup. And we'll see if Warlock, he went for 2 points in his Shadow Word and 1 point in his stats. I guess he doesn't really want to push the wave too hard by getting a point in the early Fatal Bonds, but keep in mind, I think an early point to Fatal Bonds is pretty useful, but I guess he doesn't really want to spam it too much in the early stages of the game without that bottle. So I imagine at level 5 or level 4 he will pick up at least 1 point of Fatal Bonds, and he does, for a bit of harassment as well as getting some Fatal Bonds damage by the time he hits level 6 for that Warlock ultimate. And I imagine once he maxes Shadow Word, he will go back into Fatal Bonds. As we're going to see a wraparound gank onto Waisu Sexy. Unfortunately, Milk was thwarted. His supports were not in place. We're going to see Dragon Slave being popped by Universe, but Universe unable to turn that gank around, but at least forcing back Fear and the side of EG, as the push is going to be defended by now. This tower still at very healthy HP, and we saw Nature's Prophet actually pull quite a bit, as we're going to see a teleport phase gank by Fogged. He does luckily pick up a double dance rune, and now Jao is going to have to be a bit more careful. Already 900 golden bank. I don't know if he's actually going for the bottle. Again, Warlock, one of those heroes, he doesn't really need the bottle, but he's pretty mana intensive. The reason why he doesn't really need the bottle is because he's not going to rune whore, but still. Yeah, I mean, he is mana intensive, but I guess he figures that a magic wand and a boots will help him to survive. And as long as he doesn't spam Fatal Bonds, which it looks like he's not doing, he should have a sufficient amount of mana to always cast that Shadow Word. So yeah, interesting Warlock build. I know when Dignitas run Warlock, they always go for bottle just to keep up the spam, either with Shadow Word harassment, but we're going to see a wraparound gang onto Jao. The Shadow Word is not in place, as it was off of cooldown, but Dragon Slave and Light Strike are easily enough to pick up the kill, and First Blood does go in favor of Dignitas, already shutting down the Warlock for a bit of time. Definitely helping out Puck, as even though Warlock doesn't really get killed by Puck, I guess Puck with the proper rune control, just because he has AoE nuke, he can out CS the Warlock, so maybe Puck does win the lane, but Warlock should not theoretically die.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And EG, I think they sensed that Lina did teleport in, and seeing that Puck does not have a TP skull, they're just going to push this wave. Nature's Prophet, not in position. Nature's Prophet did teleport gank to kill off that middle lane, so EG just doing what most pro teams do when they see everybody migrate towards one side of the map. They're just going to push the tower. And actually, there's a really interesting statistic, as again, speaking problems OD, that the team who takes out the first tower has something like a 60 to 80 win percent. I'm not too sure exactly, but I don't know. I feel like that win percentage definitely falls a bit if Chen and Luna are on your side, because those heroes are supposed to push towers in the early stages of the game, and I don't see Luna honestly winning nearly as much in the Western scene. So, I don't know. Interesting statistic. I'm going to have to check it out on Dota Academy, as Fogged going to pick up the regen rune, and the troll, unfortunately, not fast enough on that reactions to deny in the rune. And as it is, Jao finally hits level 6, so now it's going to be very difficult to dive him. Only 1 point to the Fatal Bonds just now, but still very difficult to dive him, especially with that level 3 of Shadow Word. Keep in mind, Shadow Word always being buffed these days, and now can pretty much heal for 400 magical damage, or 400 HP, and do around 400 magical damage. So really diving a Warlock in the early stages of the game, once he hits level 6, is pretty much not advisable, to say the least. Meanwhile, we're going to see Demon do some stacks, really shut down by the Chaos Knight Wisp, especially now that they're higher levels. Wisp, of course, level 4, and AOI last hitting most creeps, but Chaos Knight, again, no flash farming mechanism, so AOI probably a little bit miffed that he couldn't get a hero that can flash farm it up, and Chaos Knight, not one of those heroes who does go for Battle Fury, so he won't be able to flash farm for quite a bit. Meanwhile, Nature's Prophet only level 3 himself. Gonna probably go for the Midas, but he has been denied a lot of experience on that top lane. And since Lina and Whisper constantly pulling it up in the jungle, then Nature's Prophet didn't really have too much of an area to farm. Only 3 CS at this point. Although he was involved in an assist kill for the First Blood, which is why his gold intake is a bit higher than normal. And I guess EG want to put a little bit of pressure on this middle lane, but Fogged is in place, and this tower is still at full HP, so I don't think EG can actually push this. They might just try to bulldoze their way in on the back of Jao, but I think they want 1 more point of Fatal Bonds before they can really try to make that happen. But no, they are going to try to bulldoze their way in, as Fear has teleported in. The Lizard Orb should be scouting out the side of EG, But now the Illusory Orb has been used, there won't be any long-range nukes in place to clear out the creep wave. It may have been a bit of a mistake by Fogged, but again, scouting such a useful mechanism as Wisp is coming in, sending out those spirits, doing a bit of passive rest into jail. He will probably have to pop those Shadow Word on somebody. But was the drums already used? No, that was actually the buckler charge already finished by Milk, as Demon's coming in as well, level 4. So he's not having too good of a time. But the question is, can Dignitas actually defend this? This is where Warlock really thrives in 5v5 engagements, because Fatal Bond's Warlock ultimate just does immense amounts of damage, but instead he maxes Shadow Word, so the Fatal Bonds only will hit 3 targets, I think? Yep, 3. And all the while EG is not pushing this tower, this is going to give Nature's Prophet some valuable time to farm up, and AUR smartly just going to auto-attack the tower, seeing so many EG heroes transition to mid. He's going to apply a lot of damage to that tier 1 tower on the bottom lane and get this farm going through the roof. So a little bit of wasted time by EG, not able to accomplish too much. And I don't think they can actually push this tower. It's still at 2/3 HP, 3/4 HP. And instead they're going to do a wraparound smoking onto the side of AUI, but AUI has now overtaken everybody else in terms of the farm chart. It has strength treads. The question is, do his supports have TP? Tides is rotating in with the boot speed. He will be able to help out his ally, but here comes the telekinesis. AUI is held in place as the net is going to hold AUI in place as well, but the flame break and the wisp tether are going to be enough to help save the life of AUI. Instead, it's going to be way too sexy, sacrificing himself. Fog can get out of there. He has a haste rune. Demon's going to get stunned by the Dream Coil. And that's going to be it. They use an Eclipse. No, Warlock does come in, drops it, and Rock just to pick off AUI. And they said, God damn it, if we're going to devote so many resources to kill off AUI, we are going to make sure we do that, as Fog orbs in a very awkward direction. But still, EG very hesitant to dive in, because look who's teleporting. It is going to be AUI, who I think he did buy back. Yeah, he did in fact buy back, so AUI is now back in the picture. And now that the Warlock ultimate will be down, it's going to be time for EG to back off. They have no Eclipse, no Warlock ultimate. They have Hand of God, but still, they're not level 6 just yet, so they really can't push down this tower. But still, overall, a victory for EG, in my opinion, as they managed to take 2 kills. As, oh, Demon's going to try to fly off the map. You can do this with Firefly on. There's really not too much the side of the rain can do, but the orbs are going to scout out his movement. They're just going to follow the Firefly trail, and as soon as that Firefly ends, he'll go right back in the trees. But Demon's just going to get out of the map. And this is not a bug, or it might be a bug, but still, it's been the game forever, and I'm sure every Battlefield player ever knows that this is what you do, as I'm not too sure if Puck managed to get that golem kill. If he did, that would be a huge bonus. And Nature's Prophet abandoning the Midas Rush for now. Probably going to go back into Midas for the next item, but actually picked up Boots, because he was dying quite a bit, 0-1. Well, he wasn't dying quite a bit, only 1 death. But still, EG got AUI and got a buyback and got 1 more kill as well. And they managed to get a decent amount of experience, but it did cost them a couple of ultimates. But they're just going to wait around 160 seconds. I think Warlock and Luna ultimate are the same cooldowns. I know Warlock is 165. No, Luna's is a little bit shorter. That's interesting. Fear is going to go for the Shadow Amulet. He's going to go for the Shadow Blade. Interesting build on Luna. You don't ever see this on Luna, as she's more of a up-close, personal, in-your-face sort of hero. It does help her in terms of attack speed. Helps her escape. And I guess they're sort of trying to play this to the mid to late stages of the game. May they anticipate Nature's Prophet becoming a huge problem? I mean, of course, when Wisp casts Knight teleporting on Luna, there's really not too much she can do unless she has support backup other than pop Eclipse. But still, Wisp cast Knight will be able to soak up quite a bit of the damage. So, yeah, this will help for split push without fear. In most normal games, this is why you don't see on Luna, because, you know, it doesn't really provide her too much because she likes to get up close and personal. She needs HP to do that, but in terms of the later stages of the game, when Wisp starts to become a huge problem, when Nature's Prophet starts to become a huge problem, this will allow her to escape, allow her to split push a lot faster and a lot easier. So I think in this game, it makes a lot of sense on fear. As Fogged just clearing down creep players very easily. Fogged having a nice time thus far. Picked up a lot of core items, but gonna have that dagger up in about 1k gold. And meanwhile, Demon dutifully stacking these creeps, now level 6. It might be more prudent for Demon now to pick up something like a cloak, because he won't pick up the dagger by around the 15-minute mark. So I think Demon, he should try to pick up a cloak or maybe get a VIP booster. some form of HP, because even if he does blink in, he'll pretty much just die with the lasso. At least if he does get a bit of HP, even without the dagger, he can survive a bit more engaged and apply a lot of Firefly and Napalm damage. Even though Napalm doesn't do damage, it'll help amplify the fire damage as well as the flame break damage. So we'll see what Demon decides to do. Again, Demon, very, very strong Batter player. But I think at this point, it might just be a little bit too late to do an all-out Blink Dagger rush. As you can see, AUI, Demon does get a very nice knife flying over the cliff, so AUI does not have access into the reality earth. And keep in mind, when you Firefly, you get flying vision. So I don't know if AUI actually saw Demon coming. I'm sure he saw the path of the flame coming in, but still, the trees were blocking a lot of AUI's vision, as we're going to see some illusions scanning out the movement of Milk. So that's going to be a lot of gold denied towards AUI, as he was working on the tower for quite a bit. And I'm sure with that buyback, he pretty much needs all the gold he can get. And again, Chaos Knight, not one of those farming heroes, but in this game, it might be forced that he has to farm. As really the only other late game hero that they have in the bank is the Nature's Prophet. And he's going to be very, very hard pressed to make anything happen for quite a bit. Although he's working his way towards a Midas, as we're going to see EG start the push up. They have all their ultimates online. You can see once the ultimates are online, EG going to try to get a gank out to the main carry or try to get the push going. And once they're all down, they're just going to farm up. So EG playing this very, very correctly in my opinion. Warlock, one of those heroes who really just doesn't do that much without his ultimate in my opinion. Unless they have a really high damaging ultimate, which they do in the form of Eclipse, but they're probably going to use both ultimates in a team fight rather than just one and hold on to the other one.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Firefly's going to be down as Reality is going down on to Fear. He's going to take a little bit right to the face. Hand of God going to prolong his life for a bit as AY is going to take a lot of fail bounce and the golem damage, but unfortunately Fear poked his head out a little bit too far. Shadowblade was not able to save him because he was in tower range. And Demon Firefly is going to be down, and now that's going to be a lot of damage mitigated by EG, or by Dignitas, because Firefly and Fear were not in the fights, and that's going to be towered by Dignitas. That was a bit of overextension by EG, as they positioned Luna way too close, allowed for an easy reality rift into Wisp Stun, into Light Strike Ray, into Laguna Blade. Hand of God tried to do what it could, but still. As Luna gonna die, and that's gonna be one tower. But now EG, they might be able to push in if Fear manages to get the position correct, because they did not actually use Eclipse or Lasso, so they might be able to fight even without the Warlock ultimate, which is very odd in a Warlock centric team because he usually can never fight without his ultimate online. But still, that is going to give a lot of open farming room for Dignitas to farm up their jungle to pretty much without fear. Both of these towers are going to be dead, so the creep equilibrium can be pushed past the river. That's going to give Nature's Prophet a lot of room to farm split push. And now I imagine he does have the Midas. Yep, Way 2 does have a Midas. And we'll check out the CS and gold difference. You can see gold difference in favor of Dignitas. They have 2 towers compared to EG's 1, even though 1 tower was denied. And experience advantage, pretty much the same. Again, Nature's Prophet been jungling, and Demon's really been shut down in terms of experience. But EG clearing out an immense amount of stacks right here. The question is, how much gold is Fear going to get for this? As the orb is going to fly in. Won't be enough, but actually Dignitas are in place. Universe is going to pop the Light Strike right here. Comes the Blanket Puck Dream Coil catching everybody. Beautiful Laguna Blade as Fog with that orb scouting out everybody perfectly. Here comes Eclipse, going to finish off Tides as Way 2 is in the picture. One more Reality Rift. Can Fear escape on the back of the Shadow Blade? They bought some dust, and Fear is going to die as well. And man, I thought EG had it with that stack, but just nice recognition by Dignitas come in. And I guess they knew that the stack was there. The only bright side in that engagement was that Fury was able to get 1 kill for himself, and that EG cleared up most of the stack, but still. An immense teamfight victory in favor of Dignitas, and now Eclipse is on cooldown, and Warlock Ultimate is going to be back up, but still, at this point, you're going to need more than a Warlock Ultimate. And Barretter, I think he really needs to get a cloak. He's just way too squishy at this point, which is very odd, but it's going to be a while before you finish a dagger if you're Barretter. But again, Demon is a vastly better player than me, and vastly better Barretter player than me, so we'll see what he decides to do, as he is trying to scout to see if there's any more stacks. Gonna Firefly, constantly burning down creeps, as he's gonna farm the enemies neutrals. Very gutsy move by Demon, as the Firefly will wear out pretty soon, but still, a nice intake of gold for him nonetheless. Gonna use Flame Break and the Firefly. Managed to get himself nice bounty of 350, 400 gold from those ancient, or from those neutrals right there. And just check out the warden. It looks like Dignitas actually have 0 wards up on the map. Really interesting maneuver. But I guess they don't really want to take team fights too often, even though they have been winning these team fight engagements. They just want to fire off with Nature's Prophet, I imagine. Even though with the Wisp you sort of want to be aggressive with their teleports in. I think it's going to be difficult unless they manage to get Shadow Blade. Otherwise, or unless they manage to always have a gem. Otherwise, Shadow Blade Luna, once she sees the Wisp and Chaos Knight start their teleport, she will just run away, making it very difficult for the Chaos Knight Wisp to actually get a successful gank. Fogged, that dagger now can start working on some big items. As this puck has been ridiculously successful thus far. You can see 0, 0, and 8. But still, 8 assists, dagger, null, wand, bottle. As he is going to be very, very difficult to kill in the late stage of the game. Keep in mind, he still, can be killed. Especially if he's chain stun placed by Lasso and the Rock and the Telekinesis. But once he starts picking up an item like an Ultimate Orb, he'll be ridiculously difficult to kill, and pretty much will be immortal unless he focuses a lot of damage. AOI finished the armlet, now 2100 gold in the bank, and did not go for the drums. Instead, gonna, I guess, use the bottle by the Wisp to refill all his mana, rather than use that extra mana pool by the drums to give him a couple more stuns. But I think at this point he's probably just going to go straight BKB. Even though Warlock Ultimate does stun you through BKB, even though Lasso does stun you, the damage is really what Chaos Knight is worried about, as he doesn't really care if he's stunned for too long. Just the immense amounts of damage at this stage of the game by Luna, by Batrider, by Warlock is a little bit too much. So BKB would be the logical choice. We're going to see a relocate gank onto the bottom lane, trying to catch out Demon. Dream Coil is in place. Demon is going to die. Demon just not having a good time in this game. And look at Way 2. Once he saw that gank coming in, he's just like, I'm not even needed. I'm just going to farm the enemy Ancients. But Fear is in place. Going to try to catch off Way 2. Going to hit him with the Shadow Blade Strike. And going to clean him up. A little bit of greedy play by Way 2. I guess he felt secure with all his team nearby, but Fear with a nice quick assassination. And he's going to try to pick up Tides as well. Will kill off Tides successfully. Use an ultimate just for the Wisp. And just going to Shadow Blade out of there. Fear is playing Ninja Luna. This is some pretty cool play, not going to lie. As this is a style of Luna you don't ever see. But it makes a lot of sense in this game. Except in teamfight engagements. In teamfight engagements, Shadow Blade is pretty ass. But EG, now that Eclipse is down, I don't imagine they want to take teamfight engagements. They're going to try to finish the BKB up on Fear. And so far, nothing on the side Dignitas go through the BKB, not even damage or stun. So once Fear picks up the BKB, I think EG might want to try to push in. But as it is, EG are even in terms of tower count. Have actually a slight tower gold lead because one of their towers was denied earlier. But still, I imagine they're behind in terms of the gold graph. Yeah, Nature's Prophet with the Mice and a split push, able to farm a lot of neutrals very quickly. And Wisp just having so much map control means that EG, even though they can farm pretty effectively, they don't want to be alone. They have to be together, and when you're together, opens yourself up to puck Dream Call. So EG have to be together only when they're in very, very secure locations. So this is a pretty cool strategy by Dignitas. Wisp Chaos Knight Puck has a lot of innate synergy that I've never really thought about. And I'm sure Nature's Prophet does do quite a bit of work. As it's sort of similar to that Virtus Pro strat that was ran against Liquid a month ago on Louis' channel, with the Clock and Coddle being a part of it. But I think this lineup has a bit more late game potential. They have Nature's Prophet with the split push. They have Luna for a bit of extra burst damage, even if they don't have the long range initiation or long range damage of the Clock and the Coddle. So pretty clever drafting by Dignitas in my opinion in this game. As you check out the gold graph and experience graph, only 3k deficit in terms of gold experience, but still Dignitas is going to have a bit more of a gold advantage after that tower being cleaned up. And AUI not going for BKB, just going to pick up a heart, saying, alright, if you don't stun me, you're going to stun everybody else, so I guess you want to stun me? I don't know. As I think BKB would be a pretty solid option, but May's rationale is, if I get lassoed through BKB, I'll die anyway to Luna's damage at this point. So just going to go for straight up heart. As Dignitas is going to scout the Roshan attempt, Demon's going to fly and going to give them flying vision as Fear's going to take a huge amount of damage. Does he have buyback? He does not. Warlock ultimate being dropped. AUI is going to clean up Rubik in the blink of an eye. Milk is forced to retreat. And Barrett going to try to get the lasso off on the Tides of Time, but he's going to relocate out of there. Demon's going to end up paying for it with his life. It's going to be a team wipe hugely in favor of Dignitas. Every time there's a team wipe, it's going to be in favor of the team that's wiping. But still, 5-0, and they're going to get a Roshan. That was a worst case scenario by EG. As EG, they had a lot of wards in place. But still, with Chaos Knight teleporting in anytime they want, and Puck being so mobile, I don't know if that was necessarily an EG throw. I guess they just overestimated their damage, because Warlock actually doesn't do anything to Roshan. Barrett doesn't do anything to Roshan. Chen has the creeps, but other than that, it's going to be a long time before they kill Rosh. So they definitely overestimated their damage.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And now Dignitas have a huge advantage after that team wipe and the Roshan being taken. It's going to spiral up to 10k in golden experience. Oh man, the experience graph is starting to look very, very brutal.
Dire's middle tower
As EG felt comfortable with the wards, maybe they saw that... I don't think Dignitas actually even smoked in. They just relocated in and used Puck's mobility and got a kill. So now I think EG going to have to play very passively, try to wait out the Aegis, which is going to be very difficult. But I don't really see them taking a fight and winning it when the other team has an Aegis, considering they rely so heavily on their ultimates. But Fear going to clear out another stack. Dignitas do not have knowledge of the stack, so Fear definitely going to get a lot of gold from this. Going to help to fuel his BKB as he's going to clear out a lot of Dragon's Demon, try to take a little bit of gold himself. As the Demon 0, 5, and 2, I feel like if you went a little bit more tank heavy, you'd be able to do a bit more in these team fights. But as it is, I don't know if Barrett would be enough to clear these team fights by himself. And I think we're starting to see sort of the weakness of Barrett in professional games, because you give a lot of attention to him. Although I feel like if you just run Barrett mid every single game, you just do a lot better. I don't think our offlane Barrett is the way to go. But that's just my personal opinion. As we're going to see a blink in onto the back of Jo. Here comes Relocate gank in with the Nature's Prophet. Global ganking. Who needs Zeus Spectre when you have Wisp Chaos Knight Nature's Prophet? As Tide's going to relocate out of there, saying, I must go now, my people need me. But still, Dignitas going to take a very easy tower, kill Jo, so the ultimate will be offline. It was still offline for a bit, as Jo went for the Midas build, trying to feel his gold intake because he's not having too much room to farm, as well as get that experience. But still, as it is, he's still not having too good of a time in this game. 1-4. Check out the overall kill score, or level. You can see Fear is pretty much the only one on the side of EG who's performing decently well in terms of experience, as it's going to be a gank in way 2, trying to be ganked by the Barrier, but Demon knows when he should run, and he's going to get the heck out of there. Beat is just warding up, but Rubik really not able to have too much of impact in this game. There's no really good ultimates to steal other than Dreamcoil, and I guess Wrath of Nature. As, yeah, Rubik, I don't know if it will have an impact in this game, just because, again, there's no really good spells to steal. There's nothing like an RP, a Black Hole, there's Dreamcoil, but still, you can fight within Dreamcoil. And Dignitas going to clear down the last, or one of the last tier 2 towers on the side of EG's map. And AUI finished the heart with the Aegis. Dignitas might try to force the issue, but Nature's Prophet, well, Nature's Prophet can teleport in at any time. EG does have their double ultimate off, so understandably Dignitas is going to play a bit hesitant. And Dignitas is one of those teams who really just don't like to rush in unless they have to. They like to play it slow and steady. And I think in this game they can afford to do that, because Nature's Prophet will start becoming a huge problem, as he's got the Maelstrom to accelerate his farm, do a bit more damage, and he's working his way towards Hex. And once he gets a Hex, that pretty much means Barrett or Chen are going to be out of the picture. But Demon finally has the 25-26, I think he just got it, so it's actually the 27-minute dagger. And you can see, even if he daggers in, he has only 1k HP, and you'll actually die very, very quickly. As EG guards smoke up, no wards by Dignitas being planted in the opponent's base. Looks like they might try to pick off AUI as well as Tides, as they do not know. Oh, Tide's going to reveal himself by this ward, but oh, way 2 is definitely going to die. Barrett are going to come in. We'll easily pick up the kill. And I don't know if Dignitas actually knew that EG smoked up. Dreamcoat is going to be dropped by Fog. They have a teleport or a tower to teleport into as Laguna Blade is going to be popped, but here comes the Eclipse. EG trying to turn this fight around. Melk is going to be the first casualty. No Hand of God was used, but here comes AUI cleaning up what's left of EG. JO is going to die as well. Only Fear will be enough to escape. Used a 10-second BKB charge as well. And no Eclipse, no Warlock ultimate. And AUI didn't even lose his Aegis. I think this means that Dignitas can pretty much push in at will. Fogged even gets himself a golem for free. Oh, Fear trying to get an assassination attempt. Trying to be MLG no scope sniper 420, which you can't really do with Luna, but still.
Dire's middle tower
Just gonna farm the enemy neutrals and wait for his teams to respawn, but even now, I don't think the team can fight. No lasso, no lock ultimate, no eclipse. I think Dignitas can take a pretty much free racks with the Aegis. Will Aegis time out? Aegis will actually time out pretty soon, but not after this Rax has been finished off. As the Wisp and the Chaos Knight can take sustained amounts of damage. Heart healing up Chaos Knight all the while can always pretty much be on the Arma Ken with the Wisp or with the Heart in the picture. And Dignitas is gonna say, alright, whatever. We're just gonna wait around a bit. I think Fog's ultimate should be up relatively soon. It is up just now, so now they can push in. Glyph has not yet been used, or is not even in the picture for EG, as Phantasm is popped. Can he reality to anybody? No, AY is just going to focus down bugs. Going to reality onto Fear, getting a couple critical strikes, reducing Fear's HP by 2/3. Lasso is up, but the Dream Coil is in place. Laguna Blade going to be used. Melk is going to be cleaned up as well. And this Rax is going to be cleaned up by Fear. Look at how much damage he's doing. Going to clear off the Nature's Pop. Dust is going to use. Fear will end up dying, as this bottom barracks will end up paying the price for EG's failure to defend. But no, the Wisp Chaos Knight gonna relocate out of there. Maybe saying, alright, we have no Aegis, and they saw the buybacks. They're just gonna play it super safe. Fogged. Not too much man to work with, but we'll have the dagger as well as the heals. They can't really catch him at this point. As Fogged is just playing masterfully on this puck. 4-0-15. Been part of all but 4 of Dignitas' kills. And actually AUI went for SNY. I'm not too sure why you go for this rather than something like a Halberd. But other than Luna, who still has a 9-second BKB or 8-second BKB charge at this point, there's no real physical damage you want to go through. And Atos, not an option in this game. Because, I mean, Atos is god tier, but still. There's only a point. There's only so far you can go with Chaos Knight and an Atos. But S and Y gives them a lot of chasing power. I think with the Wisp Tether, you should have near maximum speed. I guess this is to compensate for the lack of drums. This is the only way I see it. Because he doesn't have drums, he only has constant move speed bonus from the treads. So with the Tether, he'll be at 440, 450. And with the S and Y, I guess it'll be like he went for drums in the first place. And now he has an additional chance to slow, so yeah, interesting build. And keep in mind, SNY, decent on Chaos Knight, as we're going to see a Blinken, Lasso, Fatal Bonds doing so much damage to AUI, but he is just tanking it up like an absolute champ. Warlock ultimate is going to be dropped. AUI, can he actually escape? They are going to focus down Tides of Time before he can relocate out of there. And AUI will end up dying. No buyback. This might be the start of a comeback by EG. Keep in mind, they didn't actually lose the bomb barracks. But they're going to have to teleport back home, as Melk is going to teleport back. Vita is, I think, teleported to the tier 2 to get that gank going. And EG, will they actually be able to defend the rocks? Barrett is going to teleport in, and Puck is just going to be on the retreat. I think they both blinked back. That's why they're making little smiley faces here and there. But yeah, talking about the SNY. SNY Chaos Knight is not too bad because you can disassemble it into Ment and Halberd, and both of those items are very useful on Chaos Knight. Halberd to disable attacks, as well as give him evasion, because Chaos Knight is not going for Butterfly, so he wants some physical evasion, and the extra HP, and Meta because your Audiot, those illusions do track with the Audiot, as Fear is going to come in, trying to pick off the Nature's Prophet, will successfully do so, and will pick off Universe as well. Fear and EG spearheading a comeback, as when things are looking bad, EG not gonna throw, apparently. This is a new EG, everybody. They want to not throw anymore. And now Dignitas must be a little bit worried, but keep in mind Nature's Prophet, well, still, his mice is on cooldown. Very unfortunate when you die and your mice is on cooldown, as Barrow is going to blink it for Tides of Time, and Fear will assassinate him with the help of Demon. So EG engineering a bit of a comeback. We'll take a look at the golden experience graphic and start to see a bit of a dip down. Keep in mind Dignitas, I feel like still has a huge advantage. But you can see the experience graph starting to plummet below that 10k mark, and Jo has the Aghanim Scepter. I think this Aghanim Scepter on Warlock is actually one of the best upgrades in the game, because, especially if there's nothing like a Diffusal, the fact that Illumination stacks, or the, god, Immolation by the Golem stack, that's huge amounts of damage. As, where does it say it? I think it's like 50 or 100 DPS by the Immolation by the Golems, but Jo is going to get initiated on. They're going to home in place with the Dream Coil, going to hex him as well. They know if Jo drops the ultimate, it could go south very quickly for Dignitas, but Jo not going to drop the ultimate. He knows that it would not be a good idea to drop it when all his team is dead. Fear try to chase down Universe, unfortunately unable to do so successfully. And this Roshan should go in favor of Dignitas. That fight, unfortunately, a bit too scared. Fear does clean off Universe, as this Ninja Luna build, picking off supports left and right, unfortunately can't really contest in team fights. And Demon is going to get reallocated in. Wisp is going to relocate up with the tether, going to stun Demon in place. Demon will end up dying. Does he have buyback? He does not. Meanwhile, Fear just trying to clear up whatever creep plays he can possibly do, and the Nature's Prophet does buy back, trying to finish off this Aegis. It will go into AUI's pocket yet again, I imagine. It does. And EG losing that team fight, but good on Jo, because he was constantly stunned in place, so he couldn't drop his ultimate, and then when he finally was not stunned, two of his heroes actually died, so he knew it was not a good time to drop his ultimate. So at the very least, EG will have the double golem for the base fight. So EG, I think, still might have... I think the team fight at this point is pretty much even when Jo's ultimate is off of cooldown, because Warlock's ultimate, again, is so powerful. And if he managed to get a couple of Flaying Fist hits, it's just added bonus. As I think EG can actually defend this. And yeah, Nature's probably just going to split push it up, apply pressure. And this is how you deal with Warlock, as he is very, very bad against split pushing. But meanwhile, Fogged does get picked off. Was that his first death in this game? It was, as even Fogged does die. But still, again, despite how much I'm sort of glorifying this Warlock ultimate, the main weakness is that its cooldown does actually not scale for whatever reason. So it's once it's used, it's going to be out of the picture for the next 2 minutes 45 seconds. So I think Dignitas just need to find a way. They might just try to farm buyback, suicide, and then to the Warlock ultimates, and then try to take a fight. That might be the best option to go for. But Nature's Prophet picked up the Hex, 2,700 gold in the bank. I imagine Jo is going to go Refresher next. Yeah, he picks up the Oblivion Staff, and when he picks up Refresher, I don't know. It won't look good for Dignitas, because then... I mean, I think the optimal way to use Refresher with Warlock is not to drop all 4 golems at once. Drop the Aghanim Scepter golems, and then see if the teamfight's not won by then, and if the teamfight hasn't been won, if your team is in a bit of trouble, then you drop the second one. But other than that, you try to use the Warlock ultimate once every 80 seconds rather than once every 165 seconds. That's just my opinion. Meanwhile, just checking out the golden experience graph, still vastly in favor of Dignitas, but you just feel a little bit worried. The teamfight getting a lot less potent for Dignitas, even though their split push is now very, very powerful with Nature's Prophet finally being farmed up. And this is the strength of EG's lamp. They went for the teamfight and early game pushing, but still, even if they managed to get not too much pushing going on their side, their teamfight is still ridiculously scary. Fear gonna go for the Satanic. I think he just picked up that Helm of the Dominator recently. It is just trying to get whatever items he can possibly go for. Demon trying to finish his Force Tap, but still ridiculously difficult at this point. And Dignitas know they need to use the Aegis somehow. They're going to charge in with AUI. Feybolt going to do a bit of damage. Beat is going to be silencing the Chaos Knight with the Winning Rift that he stole. Anyway, only at half HP, but he will start reaching it up with the heart because he has not been touched for quite a bit, but now Fatal Bonds and the Warlock Ultimate has been used. They're gonna try to focus down time to time. They will do so successfully. Look at AY, he's gonna die. He still has the Aegis, but now you can see Universe Force Retreat. Fear is gonna pop his ultimate. Fog gonna try to use himself in the air, does do so successfully, and Fog should be able to escape. Meanwhile, where is AY? He's taking so much damage from these golems. Or that was actually his illusions. Where? Oh, that was him. Yeah, you can't push into Warlock with the double ultimate, and this is why I think Warlock Aghanim's is actually one of the best upgrades in the game. It just pretty much means, even if you're down like 5 to 30, you can pretty much win whatever team fight you want. But now Dignitas, oh no, I think AOI should try to buy back and then they should try to fight. There's no Warlock ultimate for the next 120 seconds. And if he just waits it out, then that means there's only going to be 60 seconds before that Warlock ultimate is up.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But there's going to be an attempt on Beatus' life. We'll be able to kill off Beatus. No, lasso with the bait. Way 2 was baited, but there is no lasso in place. No, the telekinesis canceled the teleport. And Dignitas saying, we can throw just as good as you guys, EG.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And when you play the game throws,
Top tower has been denied.
you either win or you die. Taking a look at the net worth, Fear is actually surpassing everybody. GPM Fear has 600, pretty much what you want to have as a carry player. 700 is really, really great. 800 is just phenomenal. 1K is Alchemist. Alchemist or Anti-Mage with complete and utter free farm. But 600, very, very strong GPM by Fear, as he is really utilizing the Shadow Blade very effectively. Just allows him to farm so easily across the map. As he's only died 4 times. But still, those 4 deaths, I don't think Shadow Blade would have saved him. And definitely the benefits of the Shadow Blade outweighing the cons. And now Warlock Ultimate should be back online for the next team fight. So I think Dignitas, I don't know if they're losing, but they gotta be, at the very least, very worried. And I think Warlock, once he picks a refresher, EG will be winning. Which sounds stupid, but still, that's just the power of EG's team fight. So I'm honestly not too sure what Dignitas should do. I think they have to, again, bait out the Warlock ultimate. Oh, CK picked up the BK. That will definitely help reduce the immolate damage. It'll keep CK in the picture. Even though he will get stunned by the Warlock, I think he's realizing finally, okay, I finally need a BKB. This might be enough to turn Dignitas' team fight around. As long as they can have CK survive and keep their supports very far back, they should have a decent shot. And I think Dignitas with this purchase are pretty much, again, ahead with a healthy advantage, but still, the refresher might just even things up. As Firefly being used to give them flying vision, EG desperately wants a smoke gank, but Dignitas just playing super safe. Nature's Prophet has Chrysalis to his name. And keep in mind, Nature's Prophet, if he dies, just teleports back, pushes another tower, or gets back in the team fight. And at this point, he does a significant amount of DPS, has a couple of disables, or 1 disable up his sleeve. So Nature's Prophet gonna become a very, very annoying problem. It's already a very annoying problem, but it's gonna become even more annoying. As Roshan will not be up for at least 3.5–4 minutes. And EG just very content to turtle it out. Butterfly has been fished on Fear, purely to combat the Chaos Knight advantage, and the Nature's Prophet is starting to hurt, but still, if he gets BKB at this point, 5 seconds, so if they can outlast the BKB and they can just stun him in place and Laguna Blade him down, Fear does not have buyback. I don't know if this is necessarily a misplay, but I think EG want to win this team fight and at least take a tier 2, if not take a tier 3, so this might be what EG's banking on. They know that they can keep defending. I mean, Jay with the refresher up very, very soon means that they will have a team fight advantage, and actually, EG are going to go all in. I think they really are very afraid of this Nature's Prophet split push with the Wisp Chaos Knight. They know Wisp Chaos Knight can backdoor with the Nature's Prophet very, very easily. So I think them going all in might be a sign of desperation, even though they have won the team fights very handily as of late. But still, it's not like Dignitas wants to push in. I think they probably saw the refresher. I don't know if Jail revealed himself. Yeah, I think Jail probably revealed himself. So the question is, what should these teams do? Because EG can't actually push out. They can't. Otherwise their bottom barracks will die. And they don't know for sure if AUI has buyback or not. They can't just push in and say, okay, we'll hope that they don't have buybacks and we'll try to take the throne. Because if Dignitas have buybacks, then they can just teleport in, take multiple sets of racks, and there's not really too much EG can do. Unless they all just teleport back. So I'm really a little bit puzzled on what either of these teams should do at this point. I mean, Dignitas, they should just keep farming. They have 10-second BKB up on Chaos Knight, which is actually pretty important. Usually at this stage in the game, 45 minutes in the game, Chaos Knight would have a 5-second BKB, but the fact that he has a full 10 seconds means that you'll have a lot of magical immunity for quite a bit. And EG can't really push out, so I think Dignitas have the edge. Except just not in team fights. Fog getting very close to that Shiva's universe. Dagger, drums, dust, smoke, sentries. Meanwhile, Beatez really has not made any progression whatsoever. But still, what impression can he make? What should Fear go for next? Because eventually, I think Cast 9 will disassemble the SNY to Manta Halberd. But that takes up 2 item slots, so maybe not. I'm not too sure. Maybe I'll just sell the SNY and get something like a MKB to go through that butterfly. This is just a very, very sort of tense game, as there's going to be a Blinken onto AY at the 4-staff, dragging him backward. He's so tank. He's going to have to pop the BKB. Here comes the Wisp Tether. They're going to fight this out like men, as the Warlock Ultimate number 1 has been dropped. Eclipse is in place. Warlock Ultimate 2 has been dropped as well. But Fogged Yule Scepter's out. All of the damage. Tides of Time will end up dying. He's going to be the first casualty, but Jail going to die as well. Warlock does pick off Lena, and they're going to go look at the Golems cleaving through way too damage like it is butter, but I can't believe it. EG won that team fight very easily, and AUI is going to be chased down. He's going to die. He has buyback, but he's going to die. And EG now have the edge. Nature's Prophet, he should have buyback. He does have buyback. And I imagine if EG start pushing in, Nature's Prophet is just going to teleport and try to push other lanes. But EG dropped all 4 golems. And Jo, unfortunately, won't be able to drop an ultimate for a minute and a half. Keep in mind, 30 of those seconds he will be dead, but EG going to use this to take down Roshan. Nice play by EG, as I think they know they can't really push in. I think they know that Nature's Prophet probably has buyback, but they can't really push in with their ultimates on cooldown. Nature's Prophet going to buy back. Here comes Fog with the Blinken waiting Rift, trying to finish off one of the supports. Milk taking a lot of edge. No Hand of God is in the picture just yet, as meanwhile Beat is trying to run away with the haste rune. And Puck managed to steal the Aegis of the Immortal. What a play by Fogged. Milk gets cleaned up, and this could be the turnaround that Dignitas are hoping for. As Fogged is just playing out of his mind. I guess he just blinked in, or orbed in, and took it. What more can you say? Did Fear have any open slots? I don't know if EG had any open slots. I guess the Demon was going to try to take it. Who got the cheese? Because that was the 3rd Roshan. Did they just kill the cheese?
Was most welcome.
Alright, maybe the cheese was already used, but now Dignitas gonna push in, and Warlock, no ultimate for the next 40 seconds. This is gonna be a Rax. Could even be 2 Rax. This is gonna be Blinken by Fogged, trying to isolate Demon, gonna force Demon to be forced back, but here comes Reality as well as the Hex. Demon is gonna get picked off, and meanwhile Fear is gonna take sustained amounts of damage, trying to do whatever he can to solo everybody inside. Dignitas will Shadow Blade out of there. Upheaval is gonna be channeled, but Jail knows he has to back off, otherwise he will be reality and stunned. Fear is gonna pop the ult to try to focus on Tides, but he's gonna take a Chaos Knight right click for his trouble, and he's gonna be forced to buy back. Warlock will pick off the Wisp, but Wisp is the very, very important at this point. Warlock will be sieged upon very, very soon. The Chaos Knight Illusions will be forced to retreat. AOI is gonna have to retreat as well. as I think he did buy back. So if he dies right here, that could be a huge loss for Dignitas, and that might allow them to push in. As Tides will end up paying for his life. Will he be able to relocate out of there? He does do so. So unfortunate for EG. And the middle barracks by Fogged were cleaned up. And now Dignitas looking in such a strong position. There's just really... And now EG, they're going to have to do something that they won't want to have to do versus Nature's Prophet and Wisp Chaos Knight. They're going to have to bulldoze their way in and try to take down the throne. That's it. That's their only other option. They can't wait around. They can't try to take team fights. Buyback on Nature's Prophet, 2.5 minutes. Chaos Knight, buyback, 2 minutes. But JO's going to be dead for the next 30 seconds. And EG can't really make a move while JO's dead. Taking a look at the experience goal graph, going to start spiraling to 20k on both accounts by the side of Dignitas. Checking out the net worth. Luna's still ahead of the curve, but Luna has been forced to buy back. As yeah, I think what I'd do is just farm a bit if I was EG. Make sure there's no pushes in. Make sure I have travels. Buy travels. And then I'll rush in. As AOI gonna build the halberd as well as Manta style. Keep in mind he still has 8 seconds on his BKB timer. Those 3 seconds could mean a world of difference. As JO is going to bring up the rear. And EG are going to bulldoze their way in. They know Creepy Glorium is not too threatening at this point, even though they are up against super creeps on the side of mid and bottom. And Nature's Prophet is just going to teleport in. I'm sure he has the TP scroll in. Yes, he does, so he's going to teleport back. And Dignitas is probably just going to give up their tier 2 for free. Forced to teleport back by EG, but EG, I don't know if they will actually teleport back. They might just try to bulldoze their way through, but they might just be forced to bulldoze their way back or teleport back. No, they're going to bulldoze their way through. And this is... Oop, Mouse goes a little bit crazy, but this is, I think, the best option. Spirits being channeled. Here comes the Shivas. Popped preemptively by Fogged with another beautiful Dream Coil initiation. The golems were popped. The second golems are popped. AY is going to try to man-fight it out, but he's taking such reduced damage because Fatal Bounce and the Immolation are not part of the picture. But the golem's going to clear up the tower, going to clear up the middle set of racks very, very easily. Meanwhile, Wave 2 going to try to focus down the base. The base is in trouble. Home is in trouble. As the golems, they're pretty beastly, but they can't solve the entire enemy base is Fogged. We'll end up giving it the Aegis. And meanwhile, Wave 2 just does not care about Batrider. He's going to teleport out. No, it was disrupted, but Wave 2 at this point, buyback in 20 seconds, and Wisp Chaos Knight going to teleport in. This is going to be the end of the game. GG is called by Demon, and that was a fantastically played game. I don't know if that was epic, but that was just very well played game. I don't think either team necessarily made obvious mistakes. You might have said, oh, EG threw out those Roshan fights, but if you just look at the game situations, then what other choice did EG have? So I don't think EG threw that game. I think Dignitas just got too good of an early game advantage, and I think Barrow was just shut down for too long, and that really came back to bite EG in the ass a bit. But thanks for watching. Hopefully Game 3 will be as good, as I'll be bringing that very, very soon. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.